Hi everybody, welcome back. I have been trying and trying. I have filmed this, I have refilmed this, and this is the last time I am refilming this. What I've been trying to accomplish here is to bring you my review / demo on the new Wet n Wild PhotoFocus foundations, as well as the Wet n Wild PhotoFocus pressed powder. The first time I filmed it, I was sick. The second time I filmed it, after going into editing, I was like, you're not that tan. And so I said, okay, I think I've got this down. I have been trying this foundation out for about a good month now, so I have built up a really good review on it, what I really think about it, and do I think it's an awesome foundation, all of that jazz. So stick around and we'll get started. So first things first, I've done my under eye color correction, and I've got this, you know, my face didn't get the memo that I only need one nose, so I've got this little thing here festering about. There are fuzzies everywhere. So since that's all done and corrected, let's go ahead and get into the foundation. I have two shades here. I have Golden Beige and I have Desert Beige. Golden Beige is a bit too light for me. Desert Beige is a little bit too dark for me. Now, Golden Beige is in what they call medium warm. Desert Beige is in what they call medium dark. Such is my dilemma. I'm going to mix the both of these. I'm going to do them in equal parts because I have found that that gives me the perfect match. So, first thing, it comes in a glass bottle here. You get 1 fluid ounce like you would with any kind of foundation. And this right here, I'm going to let you know off the get-go, I'm not a fan of this. I'm not a fan of this in any way, shape, or form. What I will say, though, is I can use it to scoop the product out a little bit neater. In general, I do not like these little funky spatula things, because the idea is that you take the spatula and then take it to your face and blend your foundation around, and that's just sticking this on here, hitting my second nose and putting that all back in here. That's just not very hygienic, and I think that's so gross. I'm gonna call what I put on here about 3 normal size pumps. So that's the darker color, that's the lighter color. This little glass palette, it's just a candle dish. Got it at Walmart for like $1.50. So I'm going to mix these two shades together. That's the color I get when we're done. I know it looks different on here, it always does. But you'll see this is going to be a good match for me. It might still be just a little bit warm, but the golden color really does help with that, because I am very yellowy olive toned. My face looks a little red right now, but that's because I just got finished wiping it off and all that jazz, and that always makes my face redden up a little bit. So I'm going to dot this everywhere. So I've applied this using a couple different methods. Of course, fingers, I always do that first. I've tried the brush, and I've tried my Real Techniques Miracle Complexion Sponge. And for maximum coverage, you definitely want to go with like a flat top or a more dense brush. This is the Real Techniques Expert Face, not face. That's going to give you a really good, you know, a little bit more coverage. But I find with the sponge, it gives the amount of coverage that I'm going for, which is more of kind of like a natural to medium. I did my eye makeup first today. That's something I never do. And I said, you know what? If I'm doing my eye makeup first, I'm going to go crazy. Absolutely crazy. So, what do we think of blue? Woo! Foil blue at that. It looks kind of light at first, I'm not going to lie. It looks a little bit too light in the camera. But I feel that, and I don't know why, because this does not oxidize on me. When it's still wet, it looks a little bit lighter, but it kind of dries down like a little bit darker, like almost like a liquid lipstick. But, I mean, it's my color. So, that's all blended in. See, that was quick, fast, in a hurry. And so I'll come in a little bit closer. I'm going to zoom it in a little bit closer. Mama got her new lighting in today. Like when I'm looking in the viewfinder, and I'm probably looking in that a ton today because I'm like trying to see the white balance in the light and see if I'm going to need to adjust that. So let me zoom in so you can see what it covered. So now I have you up in nice and close so you can see what it covered. Like I said, it's good medium coverage. Most of my hyperpigmentation is gone. There's still a little bit. You know, my friend over here, he's gonna try and poke through no matter what I do. He's red. I put color corrector, everything else on top of him. But other than that, it gives pretty darn good what I would consider medium coverage, and that's with just one layer, and that's good enough for me. I have a little bit left here on the palette. I'm gonna put that on my blender, and I'm gonna try and build it just a little bit right in here, because I have found one thing with this foundation, I don't think it builds. I don't really think you can build it on top of itself. I feel that, like, and even with a brush, when I went in, I felt like I really wasn't adding, but maybe even taking away a little bit. So I would not say that this is a buildable foundation. I would say that when you put it on, what you get is what you're going to get. So now let me go ahead and show you the powder. This is the PhotoFocus pressed powder, and in this one I have the shade 824E, which is called Warm Beige. This powder it's not translucent. It's definitely got a little bit of color to it. But I do like it. It's got a really velvety, creamy texture. I'm going to take my Real Techniques powder brush, the most giganticest. Well, it's probably not the most gigantic, but it's a pretty darn big brush. I'm going like all around in here. I just want my whole brush coated. It does kick up quite a bit, so you're definitely going to want to tap a little bit. And basically what I do with the powder is I just press it in, start here at my forehead, and then work my way across my T-zone. But I don't press it in very hard. Again, I feel like if I press it in too hard here, I shove the foundation into my pores, and I don't want to do that. So I'm just really lightly pressing, and then I'll just kind of go over and whisk off. And you walk on by, will you call my name when you walk away? I'm totally feeling like I'm having a John Hughes moment right now, so thumbs up if you get that reference. And we're back. The rest of my makeup is complete, so let's go over what I think about this foundation as well as this pressed powder. Retail price on this is $5.99. Now, the good thing about this is it's Wet n Wild, and if you spend any time in Walgreens, you know how often this stuff goes on sale. The PhotoFocus pressed powder, with this you're getting your normal size amount of powder, which this is 0.26 ounces or 7.5 grams. It does come in this case like this, does not come with powder poof. So the fact that they've saved a little bit of time, energy, money, and the environment on this, I'm okay with that. This does retail for $4.99. The foundation comes in about 20 shades, which let me tell you, kudos to Wet n Wild, because aside from the Maybelline Fit Me and the L'Oreal True Match, no other drugstore foundation, and even a lot of some high-end foundations, don't come in this many shades. So the fact that it comes in 20 shades is phenomenal. If they don't have all 20 in your store, they are available online for you to choose from. The powder, I believe, comes in 10, maybe 12 shades. Not as big a selection, but again, with pressed powder, you really kind of don't need that larger selection. You can need one tone will work for a couple of different people. Now, as for finish on this, it's kind of, oh, what's the word I'm looking for? It kind of varies. It depends on what you have underneath how this is going to affect how it's going to be on top. I would have to say for oily skin people, this is going to give you a perfectly natural finish. It's going to blend in with the oils in your skin. People with dry skin, you're going to get matte. You're going to be flat matte. No questions about it. People with normal skin tone, such as myself, you're going to get somewhere between more of kind of a satiny finish, you know, like maybe like a natural leaning towards matte. So it's going to give you more of a satin finish. And I would say if you have combination skin, you're going to be in those particular areas. Some places it's going to be matte, some places it's going to be natural. So, you know, that's how that works. This almost, when you use it, has a liquid to powder texture. It's kind of hard to explain. It's one of those you have to really feel it. But even as you're mixing it, like I was dotting it on, you can feel it. It's got kind of that slip to where you feel like it's going to turn to like a powder. So it's almost kind of like a liquid to powder type of texture as you put it on. It does not take very long to dry. It does dry down in what I would consider a reasonable amount of time. Wear time on this, that's gonna vary too. I choose not to use this with a primer. I do not like putting this foundation on top of any type of primer, especially a pore filling primer. I feel that when I put it on top of a primer, it kind of wants to cling to the primer. Now, usually when I do prime, if I'm doing pore filler, I'm only doing it here and right here in between my eyebrows. And most of the time when I'm doing just any type of primer, like even if I'm using like, one of my favorites right now is the Cover FX Illuminating Primer, I will only put that in this region where I kind of feel like I want illumination, you know, right here on the forehead, down the nose, and across my cheeks, a little bit here. But I feel that this foundation clings to primer. Why, I don't know, but in my instances with it, it does. And it doesn't matter what primer I use, this likes to cling onto that primer. So I don't recommend using it with a primer unless you have really oily skin. Then it might be helpful in that with longevity. Wear time, I would say I get a normal 6 to 8 hours of wear time, just depending upon conditions. You know, am I sweating? How high is the humidity? Things like that. You know, and I also tend to be a face toucher. I touch my face way too much. So that also is going to vary on your wear time. Now, fun fact, this foundation doesn't have any claims on wear time, finish, nothing. The only thing it claims to do is not cause flashback in photos. I'm going to insert some pictures here. So you be the judge and you tell me, do you see flashback? In my opinion, I see a little bit of flashback. I'm not gonna lie. That's just right here, foundation, powder. I don't see a whole lot of flashback, I will give it that, but I feel like I see just a little bit. I don't know, you guys tell me. Maybe I'm judging it too much. Maybe I'm seeing things that aren't there because I'm being really picky. All around, for $6, fabulous foundation. This is a good find. This is a nice foundation. Regardless if it does flashback or not, for me, is not what I am looking for. If that's what you're looking for, then you may want to consider that. But for me, I'm just looking for a good all-around medium coverage foundation, and this delivers. I think it's phenomenal. It really is. And $6, kudos to you, Wet n Wild, because honestly, in the past, with me and Wet n Wild foundations, no. There's something in this. This little guy here is special. So he's definitely made his rotation into my foundation. I say go out and get it. It's a fantabulous product, and I think you'll really, really, really like it. So that is what I have for you today. That was my review slash demo on the new Wet n Wild PhotoFocus foundation that it only took me 3 tries to get filmed so I could get it up for you guys. Such is life, such is life. As always, I want to thank you, of course, for spending some time with me today. Make sure to give this video a big thumbs up if you did enjoy it. I will see you all next time. Bye-bye.